My name is Laura Bauer. I am your city clerk. I have been your city clerk now for 11 years. I'm also your designated election official for all elections. We don't have a lot of time tonight. We have a lot of questions. I'm going to thank you all. I'd like to thank you all for coming. This is a wonderful process that we do, and to provide you, the community, with an opportunity to get to know our candidates. We're very excited to have 11 candidates this year. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our moderator for the evening. Her name is Marge Innes, and she is with the League of Women Voters. So a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Welcome to the 2017 Commerce City Election Forum in partnership with the Commerce City Business and Professional Association, the Commerce City Chamber of Commerce, and Cultivando. I'm Marge Innes, and with me are two other leaguers, Michelle Kelly and Kathy O'Grady, and they will be helping. They will collect, if you have questions to write down on a piece of paper, they will collect those and bring them up to the front. Tonight's forum is being translated for our Spanish-speaking residents and being broadcast live on Channel 8 on the city's website. Our format for tonight's event is as follows. We will learn more about our city council candidates via brief remarks and a question and answer session. Tonight's questions were solicited from members of the Commerce City Business and Professional Association, the Commerce City Chamber of Commerce, and Cultivando. This evening, audience members can also submit written questions this evening on cards provided. Simply raise your hand and all cards will be collected for review by the moderator. There is a timer in front of the dais that will count down the remaining time left for the candidate remarks or answers. A buzzer will sound at the end of your time, and in fairness to all candidates, you must stop speaking. Finally, we ask that audience members be respectful of all candidates this evening, providing applause only when requested and not engaging in verbal commentary. Please also silence your mobile devices and if needed. City Council candidates, let's welcome all of our City Council candidates to the dais and welcome them with applause. All candidates will have 2 minutes for opening remarks. We will begin with the Ward 1 candidates, followed by Ward 3, and then the at-large candidates using the ballot order. Mr. Leffel, you will begin.
We ready to go?
Yep.
Okay, well, I'm running for Ward 1. I think probably just about everybody here knows who I am. This will be the 6th time I've ran for a position on the city council. I'm pretty serious about it. I just didn't get in and have this idea in the last few months. I had it many, many years ago. I've raised my family here, and I'm now retired. I've got plenty of time to do the job. I'm a business owner, operator here in the city. I work from home. I have a very big stake in the outcome of what happens with our city. I think that we're going to be on the rise continuously. Ward Run generates a lot of the revenue for our city. It's used in other places. The residents of Ward 1 sometimes feel like maybe we're not getting quite our fair share, but that's kind of how it goes. I think people should look at my record. I attended the council meetings for 12 years straight. All the study sessions, all the council meetings in their entirety, and countless other peripheral meetings that were related to the council subject. I've served on the Board of Adjustment, I believe, for 10 years now. Never missed a meeting, attended every one, review all the sites. I can do my job. I'm here to serve the people. I've got the experience, the maturity, and the stake in our city. As I said, I'm a business owner, operator here in the city. It's very important to me that our city stays successful. Thank you.
Okay. Next, let's hear from Oscar Madera.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Oscar Madera, City Council candidate for Ward 1, and I'm a product of Commerce City. So I grew up here. My family moved here 23 years ago, and they came here looking for opportunity, and we found it. I went to all Adams 14 schools, graduated from ALSUP, Adams City Middle School, and Adams City High School in 2004. And then I went on to undergraduate at CU Boulder, followed by graduate school at Notre Dame. I got both my degrees in accounting, and I started out as an auditor, auditing companies in the Great Recession. So, as you can imagine, those were tough times. I was going around the country auditing these companies, including Detroit, where they couldn't afford to keep their lights on. So I know what it's like to see financial downtrodden cities, and my background as an accountant will be beneficial to the community, and basically I'm just running to give back to the community that I came from, to promote education and help all tides rise, because if I could do it and be successful coming from Commerce City, I know the rest of the city can, and we've been in an upward trajectory, and that's really a testament to the current city council members and all the hard work that they've done. And I'd like to help that path keep going, and really do my part to help serve the community.
Okay, thank you. Tanya Russell.
Hello, everybody. Again, my name is Tanya Russell, and I'm a candidate in Ward 3. I've lived in Commerce City for the past 7 years, but I'm a proud Adams County native, born and raised. I went to Skyview High School and was the first person in my family to attend college. Things weren't always easy for myself and my family growing up, which is when my passion for serving the community was born. For many years, I've dedicated my life to making the world a better place. It was during my year of national service as an AmeriCorps member that I realized the true impact that municipal leaders have on everyday families and individuals, and that's when my desire to serve the community in this capacity was born. I spent the past 15 years of my life developing initiatives serving young people and families in both the nonprofit and municipal government worlds. I have mentored hundreds of teenagers. I've created work experiences that are valuable educational experiences for teens, as well as good for communities in creating an educated workforce. I work tirelessly for the greater good of the community, and no matter what obstacle I face, I'm a mover and a shaker. In 2016, my husband and I became proud parents to a bouncing baby 16-year-old boy. And that really gave me the opportunity to view the community and the importance of the community through a different lens, the lens of a parent. And I carry that with me every day in the decisions that I make. If I'm elected as your next council person, I can say that I am excited about what's been happening in Commerce City, and I would be honored to carry on the hard work that the current members of council has been doing. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ward 3, Nicole Frank.
My name is Nicole Frank, and I am running for Commerce City Council for Ward 3. I am very happy to be here tonight with the citizens of Commerce City and so many great candidates. I encourage you during this election to think Frank. I have been a resident of Commerce City for 18 years. I have raised my family here. I am not running for City Council for a title or to boost my resume. I am running because I truly care about Commerce City. I believe I have the skills and experience to be a leader in this community and have a positive impact on the residents. Even though I've only slept about this much since I have submitted my nomination petition, I have attended every City Council meeting and study session. I have met with business owners and residents to make connections to better the city. I have supported and attended events sponsored by Commerce City and other community groups. I continue to follow through on my initiatives of making families better, making business growth smarter, and making our community greater. I have been proactive in making families better by meeting with developers and economic development and attending the site selectors panel discussion. I have been active working on development of career pathways for youth. I have been proactive in making business growth smarter by attending meetings and presentations on student-led programs and college alternatives. I have worked to enhance infrastructure elements from transportation and parks to citizen safety. I have been proactive in making our community greater by meeting with past and current water board members, and by joining the police department in an overnight ride-along. These are just some of the things I have done to show my commitment to be a council member that will be proactive and accountable to the citizens of Commerce City.
Okay, thank you. And now Jacob Wilson, Ward 3.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Wilson. I'm running for Ward 3 here in Commerce City. I moved here recently with my wife and my family, and I really just got active right away. I got into Culture Council, Parks and Rec Council, and with that experience, I really just wanted to kind of dedicate more of my time to try to help out the city grow. And no, it's fine. And really, I think the city that we have here in Commerce City, we have such great city and great potential here. With our city being such pretty much a lot of it undeveloped land up in the north, we still have kind of a blank slate. And so this turning point in our city is really a great opportunity to where we can design the future that's going to really lead us into the future in the next 20 to 50 years. I look forward to anybody that wants to talk to me, sit down. Really, this is supposed to be the eyes and the ears of the community. That's what the city council is, in my opinion, it is. So the whole 4 years I'm in office, I want you to feel like you can reach out to me, talk to me, sit down. It's very important that you guys feel like you can reach your council members, express your point of views, and then we take those point of views to our city managers and our city employees and put it into an action plan. I look forward to any comments you guys have, and thank you again for this event.
Okay, thank you. Now we have our at-large candidates, and we'll start with Anthony Stellato.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Stellato. My main goals for running are to help the community move forward, grow, per se. One thing is I'd like to definitely improve our business attraction. The second thing I'd like to improve is our communication from the city to its residents. My background, I have several degrees, including an MBA from Hofstra. I've spent many years since I moved here in 2004 as a volunteer in the Denver Police Department, and currently I'm helping Commerce City Police Department set up CERT classes and such. Very simply, I had a business. I built it from scratch. I ran it for many years. I know a lot of holes that we have in Commerce City, a lot of the challenges going forward to attract businesses like restaurants, and I believe I can move us in the right direction. Thank you.
Okay. Next, Benjamin Huseman.
Good evening. My name is Benjamin Huseman, running for City Council at large. Before I begin to tell about myself, I'd like to take a moment and thank all of you in the audience, as well as those watching at home, the candidates sitting here, for taking part in democracy. 2005, I was in Iraq whenever they held their first elections, and seeing what people went through there in order to have democracy and knowing how good we have it here when it comes to democracy and the freedoms we have, it makes me very proud to see people actively engaged. Being in Iraq, I was there because I was in the Air Force. I spent 20 years in the Air Force. I retired from the Air Force as a senior master sergeant, a rank held by only 2% of the enlisted force. Dr. Greenleaf says, a servant leader is a servant first. And I've been a servant my entire career, both in the military and out of the military. That includes the service that I do for the community to date. I currently sit as the vice president of the Buckley Ranch Metropolitan District. This year, I was able to push through with the other board members a refinance of our long-term debt. Just received the draft budget for our fiscal year 2018, and we're looking at reducing our mill levy by 19 points in our metro district alone. That's huge whenever you consider the increase in valuation that properties have, as well as the school district needing more money. So I'm very proud of that fact, and that demonstrates what I bring to the table whenever it comes to running for Commerce City. I look for solutions, I look for problems, and I find the solution to that problem, and that's what I want to do for you. I also sit as a co-chair of the Citizens Public Safety Advisory Board. I've been selected twice by my peers on that board for that position, working with police department leadership, trying to find ways to implement community policing for the 21st century, and also make sure that we have the best and brightest police department to keep our families safe. The biggest reason, though, why I'm sitting up here and running for Commerce City is because that 6-year-old little blonde you see sitting in the front row, she is my life, and I want to make sure that this community is the best it can be for her. So I thank you again for your time, and I thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you. William Jackson.
Hi, I'm Will Jackson. I'm running for at-large. Hard to follow up with those guys. I'm a Colorado native, Navy vet. from family of small businesses. My dad owned a bar in Brighton called Blue Moon. My grandmother owned the Rocky Mountain Cushion. My uncle owns Quick's hose service and landscaping. Been around small businesses, making sure they run smooth all my life. So that's part of what I want to do is focus on helping small businesses, help them succeed, help them stay open, and get more in here. So we have more competitive competition, and then, with competition, you have competitive pricing, and that's going to be nothing but good for our residents. I also want to help law enforcement with getting more manpower. Commerce City has more than doubled in the last 10 years, and the law enforcement has not been able to keep up with that growth. So ensuring that they have the manpower, training, and equipment they need so they can do their job to make sure everyone is safe and be able to serve us and be able to do the community outreach they used to do before we got so big. Another thing I want to do is focus on bringing more income into Commerce City without having to rely on taxes, fees, licensing, and regulation. I'd be doing this by creating a data center. This is not a new idea. Several other states and cities in California, Idaho, Louisiana, Georgia have already done this. It's very profitable and can really alleviate the tax burden that we have so that we can lower our property and sales tax because we'll have another source of income. And then finally, I just want to say thank you.
Okay, you just about got it done. All in. Harvest Thomas.
Thank you. My name is Harvest Thomas. I'm running for City Council at large. I want to be an advocate voice for our seniors. And when I say seniors and be a voice for them, how come we can't have our own gala gardens, restaurants for the seniors to get together and meet again? It's not there, but they replaced it. But we needed our seniors someone to cut their grass, clean their gutters, trim their trees. Our seniors in our community is most important. Also, when I say the community, what is the community? The community is the core and the Northern Range. We has to work together as one. It's not no separate Commerce City. It's not no, I live up north, I live up south, I live down here, I live down. We are one Commerce City. We have to build that gap. We, as running for City Council at large, we have to go up there and knock on them doors, which I've been doing. My opponents, they have to come down here. Let us see who they are. Knock on their doors. Pass out their things to let everybody know we is one Commerce City. Youth. I currently sit on Adams 14 School Board of Education. And what I can say, I'm very proud to sit on that school board. Also very proud to represent, if elected City Council at large, for Brighton School District 27J. Yes, they have some on the ballot, and I approve it, and I say, yes, vote for it. But we have to, our youth is the future. Just like the gentleman said, his daughter's sitting out there. Kids are sitting out there. They believe in us. Their future is what we have to protect. Yes, I sat on the Commerce City Culture Council. We brought in the first art at Fairfax. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now we'll go on to, we have a variety of questions for our City Council candidates. We will not all of you will be asked the same question, so in your closing remarks, if you want to say something about something special, maybe you can insert it into your closing remarks. What? It says 60 seconds. Please direct your remarks to the moderator and audience. Will not be engaging in a debate or with other candidates. Candidates will have 60 seconds to provide their answers. Okay, all candidates will answer these questions, and let's start at the other end. Let's start with Harvest Thomas. And This is the first question, and you have 60 seconds for this answer. If you could accomplish 3 things during your term in office, what would they be?
3 things I would, in my term of office, would be first, widening Highway 96 from Highway 2 to Tower Road. I also would widen Roseberry from Highway 2 to 88th, and making sure that all our students in both school districts get the best quality education, make sure our school districts are the top school districts in the state of Colorado, making sure we can get 100% graduation rate from both of the school districts, Adams 14 and 27J. To me, education is the most important and is dear to my heart. So I believe those 3 things can be accomplished. Thank you.
Okay. William Jackson, the same question. What 3 things would you, during your term of office, what would you like to accomplish?
I'd like to accomplish bringing more small businesses here, lower the combined tax rate of 9.25 to 8% so that we can be competitive with our surrounding cities. I would also like to help law enforcement build up the budget so we can get more law enforcement, so people, when they call, they get immediate response and they get the service that they deserve from our law enforcement. And right now they're doing a great job, but there's just not enough of them. And third, I want to build the data center so we can have income to reduce the need for the high property tax and high fees and stuff that we currently have, so that makes businesses and our residents' life much better overall. Thank you.
Okay. Benjamin Huseman.
The first thing I'd like to accomplish is preventing an increase in property taxes on homeowners. I'd like to do this by establishing a business-friendly community that expands our sales tax base through increased dining and retail options in all parts of the city. This isn't just an issue faced by those of us in the northern part of the city. This is an issue faced by everybody in Commerce City. Our tax dollars are pouring into our neighboring communities and funding their improvements while we languish behind. Next, I'd like to streamline city services by looking for ways to reduce costs and increase efficiency. I've spent time managing public works for the city of Centennial. I've seen other models of government that work, and I'd like to explore the option of having those take place here. Lastly, when it comes to the police department, I agree we do need more officers on the street, but we also need to make sure the officers on the street are doing their best to implement community policing. It's not enough to just have more cop cars out there. It's not enough to just have more contact with people. We need to make sure that contact is done in a manner that uplifts the community and is beneficial to all. Thank you.
Okay. Anthony Stellato. Do you want me to repeat the question?
I'm okay. Thank you. Mainly my goal is to bring in new businesses. We need extra businesses to bring in extra revenue to support our community as it grows. And there's a lot of bullet points under that specific ideal. I'll bring up 2. First of all, we don't have a grace period for our sales tax filings. That's a little thing, but it is important. When you're trying to run a small business and you're trying to get all your paperwork in, people don't realize what these small businesses have to do, and they have no grace period, as you would with your income tax. Another piece of that would be to improve the incentives to bring in small businesses. I've seen businesses turn away and go to surrounding communities, which we should have here, raising revenue in our community instead. And third would be to improve communication. I really would like a social media website set up, or a Facebook page or something. Post the agenda bullets for city council meetings so residents know ahead of time. Thank you.
Okay. Jacob Wilson.
Good evening. I would work to get the overall tax rates competitive with our surrounding cities. And when it comes to the overall tax rates, we need to look at our bonds that we had. Bond obligations is probably what's causing the most pain in our cities. Also, I would continue to plan for new infrastructure when it comes to the growth that's going to be needed. Right now, we're about 58,000 population. We're zoned out currently to go up to about 130,000 plus. And so all the growing pains we see currently are just going to continue. So we need to plan for today that we have, and also to plan for the future. I see a great opportunity along the Tower Road, E470 corridor. I really would like to sit down and try to plan out something that we have, something similar to a Dimmer Tech Center, but right here along the E470 and the Tower Road. I think it's a great potential for us.
Nicole Frank?
That's okay. I would like to bring more amenities to Commerce City. I want residents to remain in Commerce City for, all of their daily needs, shopping, eating, entertainment, rather than spending their tax dollars in Prairie Center or Thornton or other outlying cities. I would like to continue with the development of career pathways for youth. I would encourage high schools to partner with local businesses to develop training programs or mentorships with the possibility of a job after high school for students. I would also like to work on the enhancement of infrastructure. In particular, in my ward, Highway 85 continues to be a huge issue. I firsthand witness a lot of red light runners. I see accidents firsthand, and I would like to work with the traffic alliances to fix Highway 85 or do something to alleviate the traffic concerns and, again, the safety issues on Highway 85.
Okay, thank you. Tanya Russell, Ward 3.
Thank you. First, I have a vast knowledge of how cross-sector partnerships can come together to serve young people and families all the way cradle through career. So I'd like to bring that knowledge in order to implement new initiatives in Commerce City. Second, I would also like to promote new local businesses and restaurants so that not only are we spending our money here and creating new revenue streams, but also there's something to be said about a community where you can spend a large amount of your time, where you can live, work, and play. So I think that that's incredibly important. And third, I would like to see an enhanced water quality for Commerce City.
Okay, thank you. Oscar Madera, Ward 1.
Yes. So first of all, I think I'd like to diversify our economy a little bit. And when I say that, I mean attract new businesses and private investment into the community. Not only to raise revenue, sales and use tax is over 61% of our budget in our revenue stream, but that would also help lower property taxes. And one way to do this is through education. We have to have a skilled workforce, so I'd like to start a program to mentor kids, get them to either higher education, trade school, or some form of higher training to develop a skill set that's going to help them in the future. Also, I'd like to improve our infrastructure and transit to help alleviate some of the traffic, as well as bring in more attainable housing. And there's a lot of land that still hasn't been developed in Commerce City, including the old Mile High Greyhound Park. So, that's definitely a project that we can break ground on.
Okay, thank you. Gene Leffel, Ward 1.
Three things I'd like to work on. I'd like to improve the reputation of our city, the trust of our city, and improve the trust of the citizens and the businesses' relationship with the city. We don't need that bad reputation. I'd also would like to improve the transportation issues the same as everybody else. Anybody that tried to go anywhere, well, it gets worse every day, and our roads are falling apart. They're way overutilized. Increasing revenue, that's a very important thing. As a business owner-operator, I employ people, and people need jobs. We need better quality jobs available in our city and businesses where people can shop for items that currently aren't available here. We've got a lot of businesses, but we're not very diversified in our overall business portfolio, if you will. So transportation, jobs, and get that trust factor up there. Get our reputation where it needs to be. Commerce City should be number one.
Okay, thank you. The next question, and let's start in the middle. Let's see. Let's start with Anthony. And what do you think your role is as a city council member? And we had a question from the audience that said, what is your most important role as a city council member? So we'll combine those two.
My role as a city council member is to give voice, be an advocate for the people, the residents of the city, to help bring concerns they have to the city employees and try to improve our policies to further the community growth, such as attracting businesses. That's my main goal.
Okay. Benjamin Huseman.
Thank you. I alluded to it earlier about being a servant leader, and I believe that those that sit on city council are servant leaders. They are there to put the community before themselves. I think that the most important thing that they can do is be a conduit for feedback from citizens and from the government itself down to the citizens with two-way traffic. Another thing I think is very important is their ability to establish goals for the city. With 55,000 residents here, there are competing goals, there are competing interests, and sometimes you have to pick a goal or sometimes you have to make a decision that benefits a majority of the residents, not every resident. And having the fortitude to be able to pick those goals and pick those issues and decide how you're going to vote on a certain issue is very important. So doing the due diligence, doing the research, and understanding the concerns of the constituents is very important and probably the most important role. Thank you.
Okay. William Jackson.
For me, it'd be advocating for our residents, our businesses, and our education in Commerce City. It'd be providing guidance for our government services and a vision for us all to meet. Making sure that we put the community first. Not an individual, not our own companies, not our own goals or aspirations, but the community. Make sure that the city becomes the best city it can be, and that the people living here the best place to be. And that's what I will try to do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Harvest Thomas.
The goal of a city council person is to sit on this diocese and represent Commerce City, but to put in policies and give the direction of the city, which mostly is the city manager. We, as a council person, you get out in the community, shake hands, talk, listen to their needs, but it falls back on the city manager, which the direction you get a city manager as a council person. But as you sit and listen, you put your input because you're making decisions on 54,000 lives that live in this city. So those 54,000 lives in this city are actually looking at you and dependent on you of how you carrying yourself in the direction that you want the city to go, plus you giving them direction where they want to go also.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go back over here. Gene Leffel, what is your most important role as a city council member?
Well, I think a council member really acts as a liaison between the government of Commerce City and the rest of the world. Not just the citizens, not just the businesses, it's everybody. And you need to be accessible. When a person wants to contact their council member, they don't want to email, they won't want to hear you're on vacation. You got to be accessible. I want to be available for the people. I got a thing there, it's called a telephone that actually works, or you could just come by my place. I've heard a lot of people contact me and said they can't get a hold of the people that sit on this dais. I don't know why. I'm here in the city all the time. So I would be a liaison to everybody, to the citizens, to the businesses, to other governments, and try to make things work. Find resolutions to issues and make things work where people are happy. Thank you.
Okay. Oscar Madera.
Yes. So, as everyone else has alluded to, first and foremost, it's to be a voice of the people. You know, we represent our ward, our city, and want what's best for our community. And what's best for the community is what the community wants. So that's the most important role of a city council member. Next is to guide the direction of the city. So there's a lot of different things that are going on in the city, and we need to prioritize the needs that are in the city and address them. Make a long-range plan, and not just think about, a pothole here today, but of road here tomorrow and where the community is going in 10 years and 15 years. So having a vision is another role, as well as making the tough decisions. You know, whenever a mill levy comes up or, you know, an impact fee, these are things that are going to affect the community, and we have to consider. And
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Tanya?
I think that the role of a city council member, a public servant, is to be a trusted listener and an advocate for the citizens, as well as a conduit between the city council and the rest of the citizens. I think that it's important to be able to prioritize and set vision for the direction of the city, and also to support Commerce City staff. I think another huge thing is that when times are good, they're fantastic, but everybody hits a little bump in the road once in a while. I think it's important that as a city council member, you can push through the problems and work together in order to come to resolution no matter what the obstacle is.
Nicole? Frank?
I believe the most important role of the City Council is to support the quality community for a lifetime. So again, I echo what everyone else has said, that it's the biggest voice of the citizens of Commerce City and advocating for the citizens of Commerce City. I think it's important also for the city to represent us at a federal and a state level so that we have a voice and so that we have the ability to work with legislators to bring things here to Commerce City that need to happen here. I think it's important that they work together to set the goals, to achieve the vision, to enact the laws that need to happen for the city to work well for the residents. I just think at the end of the day, continuing the quality community for a lifetime is the most important role, and advocating for the citizens.
Okay, and finally, Jacob Wilson.
Well, the role of the city council and the mayor's position, per the council policy, is to set the vision for the city manager, and then to make sure that the city vision is implemented in the way that the city is giving the feedback to the city council members. So when I first got into the city council run, this is the first time I ever did election, I went out and knocked door to door, talked to the citizens, to find out what is it, the issues, what is the problems. And there's 40 or 50 different issues that the city really does have concerns with, and there's probably 5 to 10 that are resonating with the majority of the population. But the reality of what the city council position is to get the eyes and ears of the community, create a vision, implement that vision into the city manager, and then have the city manager implement it, design the plan. Because we're supposed to work as a team. So all of us are supposed to work as a team with the city manager, the city judge, and also the city lawyer. So all of us up here have to kind of get along, work with the city manager, design a plan, and the way we get that plan, that vision, is from you guys as a whole. And so I tell everybody, reach out, talk to us, let us know how it is that we can make this community better for everyone.
Okay, good. Okay, then this next question is the last question which will be asked of all of you. And it is, what does the ideal Commerce City look like to you? And I think we'll start at this end with Gene Leffel.
Well, that's a mighty fine question. And I think we had this question before. The ideal Commerce City, we're there. We just need to develop it more. Commerce City has the potential, more potential than any other city around. We've got plenty of room to work with. We've got all sorts of major transportation available here. We just need to refine that, bring in the good jobs here and good employers. Commerce City is a place where people need to spend their whole lives if they can. We need to have more care for our seniors. People get old, they can't handle their property anymore, they want to stay in the city. We need to have, for lack of better words, old folks' homes for them to go to. Perhaps not the nursing type ones, but so our city, I think it looks great. That's why I stayed here the last 38 years. I could have easily moved away, but I like it here. It still has the small town feel, but yet it's growing every day, and I like that. Thank you.
Okay, Oscar.
Yeah, so the ideal conversation to me is, somewhere we're taking care of our seniors, because they built this city, and really the rest of us are just carrying on their legacy. And, one issue is going to be attainable housing, because a lot of seniors are on fixed income, and unless you already own your home, you can run into problems with rising housing costs. So somewhere where our seniors are going to be taken care of. Also, a city with a strong education community where our students are succeeding, not just in school, but afterwards, and coming back to the community and giving back. And, somewhere with the Commerce City feel, because it does have that community feel where it feels like a small town still, and you can talk to your neighbors, and everyone watches out for each other.
Okay. Tanya Russell.
Can you repeat the question, please?
What does the ideal Commerce City look like?
I think that the ideal Commerce City really is the definition of a quality community for a lifetime. I think that it should be a vibrant, diverse, and supportive environment for all the citizens, no matter where they are in their life, age, where they are in their journey of life. I think that it should be a place where people can live, work, and play, and invite their friends and family to live, work, and play as well.
Okay. Nicole Frank.
To me, an ideal Commerce City is a community where people want to do more than just have a home here. They want to truly live here. They want to socialize here. They want to be part of Commerce City. I think it means being a city that strives to be the best for residents with safety, schools, parks, opportunities, and for businesses to be a place of choice, not somewhere that they, end up being here. I think that we should aim to be where businesses want to build and grow. I think it also, an ideal Commerce City, is people raising their families here and their children wanting to stay here or return here if they've left. To me, that is an ideal city.
Jacob Wilson.
I believe in ideal communities where you could raise your family, your children in a safe and a welcoming environment with great schools, great events, but also at the same time, how do we make it so it's affordable? So we need to be competitive with our surrounding communities. When anybody moves into a community, when it comes to buying a home or buying a business, well, they want to make sure that they're getting the best bang for the buck. And so we need to make sure that we're having a competitiveness with our surrounding cities, at the same time providing the quality of life that we're all starting to become accustomed with, the great parks and such as that. So realistically, people need to be able to have a great, safe, and welcoming environment in any community. And part of having that welcoming environment is having a city council that is very opening from my standpoint. People can come here, ask questions, get the answers. If there's a question that they don't know the answer to, what they'll do is they'll get a feedback to you. So part of the great society that we have is having an open government, and I look forward to carrying on in that tradition.
Okay. Anthony?
Part of an ideal city would definitely incorporate the ideal community for a lifetime, and we have a blank slate in certain areas where we have tremendous room for growth, bringing in businesses, reducing expenses for our citizens. As a father, one of my biggest concerns is education and high schools. I definitely would like to see improvements in that field. And coming from New York, I would definitely like to see an improvement in support for our police, fire, emergency services. There's definitely a lot we can do in that field to bring more community involvement. Thank you.
Okay. Benjamin Huseman.
On Monday, I had the privilege of touring the Suncor Boys and Girls Club. That's a facility and program that is supported heavily by the City of Commerce City. And although the facility and the program is very impressive, what I was most impressed about was the kids that attend that program. Because those kids all come from a different background. They all come from different socioeconomic status. But they all work together to further their education while they're there working on their homework. They work together to play, to get along, and to be good partners in the community. And I think if you can see kids doing that, there's future. And there's a bright future ahead for our city if we can put forth some of the differences that residents have and start looking to the kids and how they behave whenever they're together. If we can do that and we can leverage our heritage and our diversity between people, industry, retail, and dining, I believe that we truly can make this a quality community for a lifetime. So I would say please look to the kids as an example of how to make that happen. Thank you.
Okay. William Jackson.
Well, for me, it'd be a community you don't call a stepping stone, you call a destination. One where you grow up in, you go to the schools are great. You can't hear enough about how great the schools are. You have a job there. It's a wonderful job. It pays good, and you're able to have fun outside of just, paying your bills. It's being able to, mature, raise your kids, and then, grow old and be part of the population that we have now that's, our seniors that get to really enjoy seeing the younger generation grow up behind you. It's being able to have that and be able to ensure that, that the safety and that the needs and wants of our citizens and of both. Never mind. Oh, is it still going?
Yeah.
Are taken care of, and that everyone is just loves it. I saw it flashing.
Harvest Thomas.
My idea, Commerce City, is that blue-collar worker, that grit, that fight, that come home every day and kick their feet up and smile. My idea of Commerce City is those who sit on council who came back home, the mayor, some of the city council women, and that fight, that grit. And I keep saying that because that's what Commerce City is about. You got Denver, you got Brighton, you got Aurora surrounding us. But you come home and you say, I live in Commerce City and I'm proud. And nobody can take that away from you. That's my idea of Commerce City is when you see the seniors walking in the rec center, smiling. They don't have to be here, but they back. You see the young kids that graduated, come back home, Commerce City, to give back to the community. That blue-collar worker, Commerce City, is my idea of Commerce City. And if we keep that, we can continue to build on that legacy of the blue-collar work of Commerce City.
Okay, thank you. Now, the remaining questions are just random, are to be asked randomly of the candidates. So we have a lot of questions here, and I have quite a few from the audience. So, like I said before, if there's something that you hear that you want to comment on and you don't get that question, write it down and comment during your 2-minute closing. Okay. Let me see. I guess we'll start again with Gene. What qualifies you to serve on City Council?
I think I'm pretty well qualified to serve on the council. As I mentioned earlier, I attended the council meetings for 12 years straight. That's every meeting, from start to finish, from the time they open the door till Laura kicks us out of here. All the study sessions as well. I attended all those for the same 12 years. Been on the Board of Adjustment for, I think, 10, possibly longer. I've lived in the community 38 years. I've raised my family here. I own a business here and operate it. I'm employing people right this second, literally, at my business. I've studied this city for years, and I want the best for this city. I'm very qualified. I'm retired. I'm accessible. You can come by my house anytime. Always call me on the phone. I don't leave for vacation for 2 years to see the folks back east. I don't have any friends back there, and all the rest of my family's dead. So I'll be here because I got nothing else to do. So when you need to get a hold of me, you just come by my place. I'll be here to help you with your troubles.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. What plan, this is for Oscar Madera, what plans or values do you have around working inclusively with Commerce City's large Latino community?
Yeah, so, coming from a Latino background, that's very important to me. I'm also fluent in Spanish, so, I can bridge the gap, the communication gap with the Latino community and help get people more involved, because I think that's been a demographic in our community that has been underrepresented in terms of participation. And if elected, I can help bring that community into the municipality in the civic process. So I think in terms of being able to communicate, inspire. I've been able to accomplish a lot, coming from the same community as them. So I feel like I can relate to the people of Commerce City and inspire them to do bigger things and come back and help the city.
Okay, thank you. Tanya Russell, and there are several questions here about this same topic. What are your plans for downtown Derby? And how would you help the Derby area from not being a blighted business area?
Yes.
Okay. I think that it's important to focus on areas that need help, such as the Derby area. From my experience working with the municipal government, there are funds to help restore and really build those existing areas into treasured areas in the community. So I think it's a lot about history and not losing that history and building on what's current and existing.
Okay. Nicole Frank, serving on city council is at least a 20-hour-a-week job, including day and evening commitments. Are your present commitments flexible enough to allow you to dedicate the time to serve on council?
Yes, I have talked to my work already. I have full support from my position. I'm currently attending the city council meetings, the study sessions, so I'm already in the habit of attending every single Monday meeting. I serve on the Planning Commission for Commerce City. I don't think that the time is an issue. My children are older. They're able to fend for themselves. I don't believe that there's any type of issue or constraint with my time. I am very passionate about this, and I am willing to do whatever it takes to be a good representative for the residents of Commerce City.
Okay. Jacob Wilson, if the city were to realize a one-time windfall cash benefit of $3 to $5 million, how would you like to see this money spent?
Simply pay down the bonds. Very simple.
Okay.
I think that's one of the biggest issues that I think a lot of our residents up in the northern issue with our bond commitments. We've heard a lot of stress. So people are debating if they want to pass a new school levy or not because of the property taxes, the overall property taxes. So in my opinion, paying down the bonds is pretty much essential. That's something we need to do as a city.
Okay. Anthony Stellato, another question from the audience. What is your view on fracking in the city limits?
Oh, figures. Very debated topic. I understand fracking, and I listen to a lot of people talk about it. I actually had a business while this whole debate was going on originally, well, not originally, but several years ago, and it was a big deal in city meetings. And the way I see it is I would like to keep fracking away from our communities. I don't know everything I need to make informed judgments on, and I would love to learn a lot more. And I've asked the companies doing the fracking for more information, and every time I did, I was kind of turned away, and they pretty much didn't care to talk to me because it wasn't a need, I guess, of theirs. But I'd still like to learn more before I make any kind of decisions, but I don't think that should be in our communities.
Okay. Benjamin Huseman, what are your thoughts on annexation?
I thought you were going to ask me a tough question. I believe that annexation should be by choice and choice only. I am not a fan of forced annexation. I believe that if community or residents wish to join our city because they feel that it's beneficial to do so, then by all means they should have that opportunity. However, I am not for a city government looking and saying, here's an opportunity for us to increase our tax base, so let's go ahead and annex them. I think that's the wrong way to go. It needs to be strictly by the desire of the resident, not by the desire of government.
Okay.
Thank you.
William Jackson, the Commerce City Chamber business members have expressed concerns about consumers not able to identify their business because of sign restrictions. What are your thoughts on signage in the city?
Well, I think we should look into being more creative on how we do signs and be more focused on helping the businesses and just ensure that we work with them so that when they do their creativity and their goals of getting more people, that it doesn't look bad or make it a blight on the community. So it's having an approval process, but it's allowing them to have more leeway on what they can come up with, and then we can kind of go through an approval process to make sure that it helps them get the business they need, identify their business, but still does not make a blight on the community.
Okay. Harvest Thomas. Commerce City is one of the fastest growing cities in the state, but does not have a cemetery for its residents. Do you think the city should own and operate a cemetery?
Well, depending on where it's the land, but I'm sure half of the cemetery that's across the street from Suncor is part of Commerce City. But land is scarce here in Commerce City, depending if you're going to put it up in the Northern Range. But I feel personally, yes, it should be a cemetery here in Commerce City, and I would vote to have a cemetery in Commerce City. Yes.
Okay. Let's see. We'll go back to Gene, I guess.
That's why I'm number one.
What are your thoughts about property surrounding the Civic Center?
Well, you got property surrounding the Civic Center. They've managed to collect as much of it as they possibly can over the years, and I think they got deals working on all the ones waiting for people to die off so they can collect their properties. Actually, that's at the old Civic Center more than the new one. Right now, around the Civic Center, I don't see anybody doing anything because Cronky's spending all his money down the road in other communities. He holds the strings on the development of the property around the Civic Center, and he's got a pretty good deal there. And until he moves, we're stuck. We're on a contract. So I don't think you'll see a lot of development around the Civic Center per se, this structure, until Stan Kroenke decides he's going to spend some money on it. He's supposed to put a big sporting thing along out there. I sure haven't seen that in the last 2 years since he talked about it. So I don't waste a lot of time thinking about it. That's his problem.
Okay. Oscar, water and fire districts working with Commerce City. How could we improve our water and fire districts when they're separate from Commerce City?
Yeah, this is difficult having special districts that work independently, and really the best method is just communicating, having regular meetings that are public, that the public can attend and put their input, and just to have that transparency, because I feel like the most challenging part about them being separate is the communication and not having the same control as you would over something that is under the city's control. So, working in a public and transparent manner and having the citizens' input would be the best way to handle that.
Okay. Tanya, the City Council and staff have done a lot of great work around being inclusive and building positive relationships with the Latino community, such as convening the Latino Engagement Task Force and passing an inclusive city proclamation in 2016. How would you support this collaborative work?
I think that I have lived my life making sure to be an inclusive person by nature. I think that including the Latino population. There's a number of things that I could do to support it, but I think one of the biggest things that I could do is be a trusted listener, as well as creating opportunities for people to engage. So what I've realized in the work that I've done in the past is that oftentimes if somebody's not given an opportunity or asked to take advantage of an opportunity, sometimes they simply just don't know that it exists. And also, if you've never done it before, it can be incredibly scary. So I think providing opportunities and outreach is really key, and communicating.
Okay. Nicole Frank. As Commerce City continues to grow, how will you work with the council and the staff to protect and support community members who are struggling to afford housing in our city?
I think affordable housing still continues to be an issue across Colorado. The little bit of good news is that Adams County shortages are less than some other counties. I think that Commerce City has done a good job with affordable housing programs and options that are out there for residents. But I think, whether we give local builders, that want to build affordable housing, some type of incentive to build here, or incremental increases in their taxes or something like that to help the residents. And I think making sure that there is communication between residents and the staff so that they're aware of the issues that surround affordable housing for residents. Just keeping communication.
Okay. Jacob, how would you work and collaborate around improving educational and career opportunities for our youth?
I think it's important that we continue to endorse and also advocate for our schools to be at least to the levels that our surrounding cities are. Currently, our mill levels are actually a lot lower substantially compared to our surrounding communities. When people move into our community, they're going to look at our scores of our schools. When people are coming to build our businesses here, they're going to look at our schools and they're going to check and see if this is a community they want to come and build in here. Is this a community they want to come and live in? So it's important that we continue to advocate for the benefit of our schools. We want world-class schools, and we want them to be, competitive. I mean, it's important that when people look at our schools, we have some schools in the north that have a higher school range, and then we have some schools in the south where it's quite embarrassing for some of ours, even though we have a lot of dedicated teachers and administrations that are trying to provide good education to the school kids. But it's important that as the city, and I think the city's done a pretty good job overall to support the overall educational goals for our students. But it's important that we continue to advocate for them and get our schools up to the surrounding neighborhoods.
Okay. Anthony, what is your stance on unions? How will you be involved with city employees?
Unions are a funny thing. I have been in unions before. I've been for, I've been against, and it really depends upon the strength of the union and what it actually is able to accomplish. So I'd have to really dig deep into that. I worked for the government for a while. We were required to be part of the union, but I was told by the government, by our union rep, that they couldn't even support us. It was just a piece of our paycheck going away. And I've seen unions do tremendous things for other companies where employees had their environment made more safe. So it would really be a per instance thought.
Okay. Benjamin Huseman, what would be your top priority street and or intersection project once Highway 2 and Tower Road are completed?
I would be remiss if I did not say 104th Avenue and 85 to include the Union Pacific Railroad tracks that repeatedly block traffic on all four lanes for 45 minutes at a time. This is something that everybody is suffering through. And if we can find a solution to that, be it a new on-ramp from 104th directly to 76 or a way to divert the traffic around that intersection, we will have done a great service to our community.
Okay.
Thank you.
William Jackson. I'll read this question from the audience, and then it also pertains to this last question here. Nail salons, chicken fast food, dentist offices, oh my. We go to Brighton for sit-down restaurants and entertainment nearby. I want to be able to spend money in my community. Commerce City needs to move forward. What would you propose? And this says, how would you attract more family-friendly restaurants to the northern part of our city?
That is an excellent question. Well, working with small businesses is one. Also working with other corporations by reducing sales tax, looking at our regulation, licensing, and fees to see where we can reduce those as possible. Looking and doing incentives for things that we really need, like we don't have a movie theater, so that would be something that we'd want to try to get in to Commerce City as a movie theater. Making it so that it is so business friendly. We have companies buying to try to get into Commerce City because it's a good place to set up business. That's what I think is the best way to bring the businesses we want, is to make it so that it's so business friendly. We have businesses buying to try to get in here. And that's what we can do with reducing our sales tax, looking at our regulation costs, our licensing fees, and some incentives to help get them in here, because it would be wonderful.
Finish your sentence. Okay. This is the last question, and it says, define community.
Community. That's when you can look at your next door neighbor across the street, and you can go to that community, and you come together. You break bread, have food with each other. You work together. If they leave and go out of town, you pick their papers up, pick their mail up for them. You communicate. You watch their kids grow up. You attend graduations. Community is a bond which you have with your neighbors as one. You come together as one. You help each other. You scratch each other's back. Community is that blue-collar worker, the white-collar worker, y'all come together. Community is something that we can strive to be, strive to understand each other, strive to better our schools, to understand what's the problem with the school systems. Why are the taxes so high? The community can have, block parties, understanding what block parties are, and get together. Communities are everything that you want it to be and more.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Well, it says a minute. Do you want to go to 2 minutes? We probably have time. Or a minute and a half. Okay. Okay. Thank you again for joining us this evening. We'll now have a candidate closing remarks. Each individual will have 2 minutes to make their final pitch. We will start with our at-large candidates, followed by our ward candidates in ballot order. Mr. Stellato, you have the floor.
Thank you. As you've heard tonight, bringing businesses in to our community is key. And I would work very hard to do so. I heard something about nail salons and being inundated with, in the past, it's been pizzerias. Well, those are the businesses that are successful here. What we need to do is attract a nice variety of businesses, something which would keep people spending their money in our community, bringing tax money to Commerce City. I mean, something as simple as our garbage pickup program can be improved. Right now, we have a bin to put our garbage in. What happens if your kitchen chair breaks? It ends up in the dumpster behind some business, and that business loses space in their dumpster. What happens if you have a mattress that you have to throw out? I've seen a lot of mattresses in fields that the city now, yes, they saved money in bringing in this new garbage program, but now they have to spend money to go pick up that mattress. There's a lot of details to our city policies and how we treat businesses that can change. Little tweaks will start to make the place more attractive to businesses. I'd love to be able to support our education better and support our police, fire, and emergency services better, and work with the city manager to do so. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Benjamin Huseman.
A lot of us have conveyed that we'd like to see more businesses here. We'd like to keep Commerce City money in Commerce City, and I think that's a goal not just of everybody sitting up here, but everybody in the audience and watching at home as well. The important question that we have to ask now is how. What can we truly do to get those businesses to come here? The city doesn't choose what business comes here. However, the city can make it attractive for the business. I've worked as a project manager doing construction management, and I did the McLean Food Distribution Warehouse for a mechanical contractor out there on 80th Avenue. The general contractor cut an $800,000 check to Commerce City for building use and permit fees. $800,000. If that doesn't tell you that we have room to negotiate when it comes to bringing businesses to Commerce City, then you're not looking at the big picture. I see that big picture, and I want to make sure that we do whatever it takes to bring those businesses in, whether revamping our fee and permit schedule, looking at sales taxes, looking whatever we can do to incentivize those businesses to keep Commerce City money in Commerce City. I have a great history. I'm very fortunate for the history I have. I'm fortunate for the opportunities that I have. I want to make sure that every other individual out there in the city has the same opportunities I have. I mentioned before touring the Boys and Girls Club, I talked with their operations director, and I said, wouldn't it be great if we had an opportunity for people to learn a trade while they're here? Why don't we go after the middle school students? By the time they're in high school, it's too late. Let's go after the middle school students and let's let them learn wood shop. Let's let them learn drafting. Those are the classes I took when I was in middle school, and that's why I'm sitting here today. Before I close, I would just like to once again thank you all for taking the time to watch. Thank all the candidates for sitting up here. And I ask that you please keep in your thoughts and prayers all those affected by the wildfires in California tonight. Thank you.
Okay, William Jackson.
Well, I want to support our law enforcement and first responders. I want to work with our education to help get more charter schools, more private schools in here, and help increase the budget for our public schools. I want to be able to help our seniors be able to alleviate the tax burden and the cost of buying goods and services so that they can use the money on their fixed income more efficiently and be able to do more instead of just barely paying the bills. Be able to work with builders to have more affordable housing, not just for seniors, but for everybody. People that want to be able to have a house and they're in an apartment, but they can't afford a $300,000 house. But it's either live in an apartment or try to buy a $300,000 house. I want to find something that's more affordable so that they can have their American dream, their nice homestead here in Commerce City. And then I also want to be able to help bring in a lot of small businesses, be able to increase the choice and the competition that we have so that we have more to do here inside, like everyone else has said. Keep the money inside Commerce City so that we can really grow and be able to keep this wonderful piece of land that we got and develop it and make it just the best place in Colorado to live. And I think we can really do that. And there's lots of ways to do it. I have my ways, they have their ways, but we all want to make that happen. And I don't think anyone here has any other goal than to make this the best place that you could be. And I thank you very much, and I hope everyone's having a good night.
Okay, thank you. Harvest Thomas.
Yes. As I think of all the candidates talking, and I helped myself to reminisce about when you asked the question about Derby. Well, there's an urban renewal grant fund for Derby, which is helping fix the streets, the buildings, help bring that area up. So we understand that that part of Commerce City needs to be worked on, and it's getting that work from that urban renewal grant. When you say taxes, I work for the Department of Revenue. Commerce City is a home rule city, which makes its own taxes, which is 4.5 today. The other taxes, which I heard 8%, 9%, that's come from the county, different other areas of the tax. So the municipality of Commerce City has to work together if they want to bring the taxes down, not the state or those areas. When you say union, I am a union worker. I believe in union. I strongly believe in the union. And I will support the union no matter what, because without the union, this country wouldn't have been built as it is today. And you have to respect the union because we wouldn't be here today. So I am a big advocate for the union, and I will continue being an advocate for the union. I sat on the City Planning Commission to this day for 5.5 years. I have watched this city grow. I watched City Council put their hard work in it. And then we don't mention the capital improvement program what the City Council approved in 2013, 5 projects in 5 years. 2 out of the 3 projects is not done yet. But then you got to come up to 2019, they're supposed to be done. What's the next project's going to be done? And not only that, when you sit up here, you cannot make, you have to vote with the City Council and to work with the City Council. You don't have your own agenda. You have to come together and be collective. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Gene Leffel, Ward 1.
Okay, yeah, my name's Gene Leffel, candidate for Ward 1. Regarding fracking, probably not in the general community, although I only live a mile from the refinery. It'd be interesting to see what they came up with there. Annexation, our growth boundaries are clearly set. Everybody knows where they're at, but it shouldn't be done for money like the industrial annexation was. Sign restrictions, ridiculous. We hear cases at Board of Adjustment all the time regarding signs. Some of it's pretty ridiculous. Cemetery norm, you get this on the council, on these things every time. You're going to die, okay? Get you a plot somewhere, okay? I lived in the city longer than any of these candidates, I can tell you right now. My time availability, 100%, okay? It doesn't get any bigger than that. Familiar with the city staff. I know them all by name. They know me. They know who I am. Property around the Civic Center, well, I talked to Stan Kroenke. Water and fire district being separate is a bit of a problem for our city, but I think we're working through that right now pretty well. Affordable senior housing, let me tell you, we don't really have it, and the availability of it is pretty minimal, what we do have. Unions, I support unions when they're used properly, not for so guys can slack off and not do their job. But in the proper scenario, yes, I totally support unions. Street repairs, all of them. Get some guys out there and start fixing stuff. Attractions or restaurants. Anybody knows me knows I don't know how to cook, and I don't got a kitchen at my house either. We need more, bigger, better restaurants. I'm sick of all the ones that are here. I've been to them 1,000,000 times. Community. That's when you got a problem and you've encountered a semi along the road and a guy says, hey, Bev, you need help? You know, guys, you got a flat tire. Guy says, hey. They stop and ask you if you need help. Been there, both sides of it. Derby. I was the first president of the Derby Business Association. They've let it go defunct now. A shame, because Derby is a diamond in the rough. So I've been here since 1980. Anybody who doesn't know me, call me on the phone or stop by my place. I'll tell you about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Oscar Madera, Ward 1.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. First of all, my passion is helping others, and not only helping others, but that takes getting along with others and working with people to get things done. After I left public accounting, I joined a startup tech company, helped to become an industry leader, and go public. they now work with over 70% of the Fortune 500 companies. So through this process, I've learned, what it takes to have small businesses start up and succeed. And I've also made a lot of connections in the business world, not just locally, but throughout the nation and internationally, that will help me be the best suited candidate to bring these businesses in and these retail and these different economic opportunities that you want to see in the city into the city. And it's going to take a lot of hard work and working with our current council and keeping up the good work that they've been doing. But not just that, we're replacing half the city council this year. That's going to be a big void to fill. And we're going to need some big shoulders to prop it up. So I'm hoping that after this forum, I have your support to help me represent you in Ward 1 and to get you what you want to see in Commerce City. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Tanya Russell, Ward 3.
First, I'd like to say thank you. I'm humbled and thankful to sit in front of you amongst a group of dynamic leaders. Somebody once told me something I wasn't sure if it was a compliment or a knock at the time. They said, Tanya, I'm not really sure how you do what you do. It's like a lot of organized chaos, and then something huge comes out that impacts a large number of people. I know now that was a compliment, and it is something that's true about me. I love to serve people, and I'm good at doing it. I have experience working in local government, and I understand that no one person can do anything alone or make promises alone because it takes a group effort to really change things. I have a lot of dedicated experience in working to improve school districts and the life of young people, including being on the Community Leaders Board for Adams County Youth Initiative, partnering with Adams County Education Consortium, as well as America's Promise Alliance. So I know how to improve the community for young people and families. While I might not have the answer to every question that was asked up here, I can tell you I'm a leader, I'm a learner, I'm a listener, and I'm an advocate, oftentimes for the most vulnerable populations in communities. With that being said, I know that I can make the best city council person that anybody could ask for, and I'm honored to ask for your vote to represent the people of Commerce City.
Okay, thank you. Nicole Frank, Ward 3.
Again, thank you, everybody, for your time this evening. I continue to be motivated to leave a legacy of making families better, making business growth smarter, and making our community greater. I have the skills and well-rounded experience to get things done. I currently serve on the Planning Commission. I'm a trustee for a health trust in Colorado. I've previously worked with the School District 27J on committees and task forces. I was previously treasurer for Bell Creek Charter School PTO. And I also have 18 years of experience in human resources. And with that comes the ability to balance the needs and the wants of employees with the restraints of the business. And I think that translates quite well to working on city council and understanding what residents need and want and balancing what the city has. I have attended all city council and study sessions since August, so I'm already invested in what our council is currently working on. I want to work for the citizens of Commerce City. I will advocate to improve the daily lives for citizens. I will work with youth and businesses to create a strong workforce. I want to make Commerce City a place of choice for businesses. And I want to work to enhance our infrastructure and citizen safety. I have done more than just speak about my initiatives. I have proven my commitment with actions. I hope when you think of a proactive and accountable choice that you will think Frank. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And finally, Jacob Wilson, Ward 3.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight and here in the auditorium, also online. I find it important for the community to reach out to us, get engaged. This is really the most important part of our jobs, is to get engaged with the community. With that engagement, we're able to actually develop a plan and then try to make our lives a little bit better. What I intend to, running for a city, though, is a complex organization. So it's not just a one subject or one topic. So If people have issues, realize that the issues it's a complex thing. There's 5 to 10 different things, and they all correlate. And so I'll keep it simple and pretty much reach out to me anytime. I look forward to representing this community. I sit currently on the Culture Council and also the Park and Recs. I really love the community. When I go out and talk door to door to people, I just found that it's not just us up here. The whole community as a whole really does have an active participation. But how do we get that participation to become part of our city government? I think it's a challenge that I think all of us who sit on the council experience every day is how do we get the people that are in our city to engage with us to tell us what they want? And I look forward to people to reaching out to us, and I hope I can get your vote. And thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, the Commerce City Chamber of Commerce, the Commerce City Business and Professional Association, and Cultivando, thank you again for joining us this evening and helping inform voters in advance of the November 7 election. Please stay to enjoy refreshments and interact with the candidates in the atrium. Thank you.